Welcome back, friends, to another episode of Abundantly Aware. I appreciate you being here so much. So today we're getting into something that I know many of us struggle with, and that's overthinking, and specifically when it comes to journaling. And if you've ever sat down with a blank page and thought, is this even helping me? Or am I doing this wrong? You are so not alone. And in this episode, I'm walking you through 3 most common journaling mistakes that are quietly holding you back so that you can stop spiraling and actually get what you came to journaling for, which is clarity, peace, and maybe even just a little bit momentum. Let's get into the episode. Mistake number 1, waiting to feel ready. So I think that it starts with, you think that you need 2 hours in the morning to journal, 2 hours in the evening, whenever you choose to journal, you think you need a long time to do it, or that you need the pretty journal. And when you purchase the pretty journal, then you're going to journal. Has it worked yet? Or you feel like you need to know exactly what to do. And I don't think that you do. I think that with most things in life, we're never actually truly ready. Like, people talk about being ready for kids, being ready for marriage, being ready for a house. I really don't truly think that you're completely ready for any of those big things in your life, but even the smaller things in our lives, because we learn as we go and we get better with it. I don't think that starting this podcast, I was ready to start the podcast. I just started and I just did it. And I just tried to be as prepared that I could be. I don't think that you need the perfect routine, and you can start where you're at. So if you only have 5 or 10 minutes to journal in the morning, you can journal in the morning. And if you feel like that's not enough time, maybe you do it in the evenings right before bed, and you house your journal on, I almost pointed behind me if you're watching this episode on YouTube, because I was going to say put it on your side table, because as you can probably clearly see, I'm in my bedroom recording this, but put it on your side table so that you're ready and it reminds you before bed to journal before bed. Or like me, I personally do not use an aesthetic journal because it was stopping me from actually journaling. And it made me feel like it had to be perfect and my writing had to be perfect and I couldn't make any mistakes or cross anything out. And so I decided I use 5-star journals. And you can buy the equivalent, I'm sure, at the dollar store. But I buy 5-star journals because they're larger. They're like 8 by 11, which is perfect for me. I like a bigger journal. And they're ringed, which is also perfect for me because I'm left-handed. Oh, yeah. I've obviously washed my hands since I journaled this morning, but I usually have pen on my pinky because I am left-handed. But it works so much better for me to be able to flip it all the way over, and you don't have to worry about the binding, and it's much more helpful for us left-handed people. So take that if you're a lefty like me and you want to journal. Maybe get a ringed journal instead of a supposed to lay flat, binded journal. And lastly, knowing every single thing about a topic, it's never going to be the case. I know a lot about journaling. I've been studying and learning and having the process and a practice of journaling for about 4 years now, and I still don't know everything. So you're never going to know everything. Just start. And I think listening to this podcast and being here every week is a perfect place to start, to be able to just work on it. So mistake number 2 is thinking brain dumping is the only way to journal. Now, yes, I talk about brain dumping all of the time because it's the easiest thing to explain for you to do to journal when I talk about my journaling practice, because for the most part, I brain dump. However, I also know that specifically for us overthinkers, we think, maybe brain dumping doesn't work for you. So then you think, oh, well, I need something different. And you feel like it's the wrong, quote unquote, way to journal. But I'm here to tell you that it's not the wrong way. And there isn't a wrong way and there isn't a right way. There's the best possible way for your own specific brain, which I like to tell everybody. And that is really like a huge basis of this podcast and my business, is that like we can become aware of our own selves and what works best for us. And so maybe brain dumping doesn't work for you because it creates more overwhelm or it feels repetitive. Or maybe even it feels like surface level because you feel like the only thing that's coming to your mind when you think of brain dumping is, oh, yesterday I had the best sandwich for lunch, and starts with like Dear Diary. But I'm here to tell you that that doesn't have to be the way that you brain dump, but it also doesn't, you don't have to just brain dump. There are other options for you. There are, some more playful, keep yourself out of the monotony of doing the same thing over and over again. So some playful ways you can approach journaling is you can doodle instead of write. I still consider that journaling. Like you just sit there. It's honestly, it's just so that you sit there and you're quiet. You're just quiet for a moment in the morning or in the evening, specifically like to quiet your brain. And that's why I talk to overthinkers so much, is because we're always in our heads and we're always thinking, and we have like 4 or 5 topics on the go at the same time. And it can be exhausting. Like it is exhausting. And so taking that time with yourself in the morning to just think, like, what do I want to say is so helpful. So doodling can constitute as your journaling space, as what you want to do if you're more inclined to journal. And, sometimes you can incorporate words when you doodle. Like I've seen specifically my partner, like I've seen him like write words and turn them into doodles. It's pretty cool. So you can do the same. And so that's like a playful way to approach journaling if you feel like in that moment brain dumping isn't serving you. You can switch it up as well with different prompts. So I can include prompts in some of my podcasts, and I also include some prompts on Instagram. Yeah, like even just Googling journal prompts for morning pages and looking up the images and going to like the 3rd image and the 7th prompt and going with that one. Like it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be really simple. And I have a journal currently up for sale. It's on Amazon. If you want to get it, I will link it in the show notes, and I'll link it in the description down below if you'd like to check it out. But I'm also working on something really exciting, which is more of a digital download, so you don't have to have a physical product, with some journal prompts that you can address and take with you on your journaling journey. But all that to say, there are many different ways to journal, and brain dumping doesn't have to be the one. Mistake number 3 that I see overthinking creatives do when they approach their journaling practice is believing that you need to journal for 3 pages every morning. Now, I'm sure you've seen the TikTok girlies online, the creators online talk about 3 morning pages. I wrote 3 morning pages today. And if you didn't know, this was all started by an author called Julia Cameron, and she wrote a book called The Artist's Way. I myself have done it 2.5 times. The first 2 times I went through it, I didn't have a lot of things going on in my life. If you've heard another episode, I'm sure I've talked about this, but I was going through some health situation, and that caused me to have to take time off work. So I wasn't really doing a lot of things, and I didn't have a lot of things on the go. And so I was able to take that time to write and journal and do the 3 pages every morning. Like I was able to it takes like 2 hours. So I was able to take that time. But the 3rd time, the half time that I tried, I quit midway through because I have so many other things going on. And I realized that Julia Cameron was perfect for me in that time when I like really needed it. And I really needed to take that time to like sit and think and journal through. But now it just doesn't work for me. And I'm seeing a lot online. Like it's a lot, and it can feel extremely overwhelming and like too much to think about like reading this book simultaneously at the same time as writing and all the journal prompts that she has for you, even though she reminds you that you don't have to answer all of them. Let's be honest. All of us try to finish all of them. All of us do. Just like if I'm speaking to specifically the overthinkers, the overwhelmed, ADHD, perfectionists, anybody in that general vicinity, you feel me. We feel like we have to do it all. And because of that, I think it's been brought on the internet that this is like a perfect way, and the perfect thing to do is 3 pages a day. And I don't agree. I think that journaling is your own creation and something that I specifically desired to do. So I release the pressure to create 3 pages every single morning. I completely released that pressure and enabled me to actually follow through. And now I've been journaling, like I said before, for over 4 years. And it's helped me in so many ways. And I also want to reiterate that you get to check journaling off your little list, or the Finch app if you use that. I do. You get to check it off regardless of how many pages you get finished or how many minutes. I was going to say hours, but minutes that you sit down with your journal, it all counts, and you don't have to do 3 pages. I release it. So for me, I do about 1 page, but double spaced, because I write large. And like specifically when I write my G's and my Y's, they go down into the bottom, like the next line, and I don't like it. I like to be able to go back and read through it. So I do 1 page double spaced almost every single day. And some days I do 2 pages, and some days I do 3 pages, and some days I do even more. All depends. And actually for a little while there, I got a little stuck and I felt a little like I didn't need it as much. And so I was journaling for paragraphs instead of pages. And that was fine for that time. But I'm back to 1 page and I feel really good about it. But forcing yourself into the bucket of 3 pages can sometimes be very overwhelming. So I'm here to give you the permission, even though I wish that you didn't need this permission. I'm still here to give you the permission that it's okay to journal for a paragraph or a page. You don't have to try and journal for 3 pages. So, all right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for another episode of Abundantly Aware. And if you've been overthinking journaling, I hope that this helped you realize that you're not doing it wrong, and that learning your way of journaling, and that's okay. And again, as a reminder, whether it's 1 page, 1 word, whether you have an aesthetic journal or not, it all counts. And you're showing up for yourself on the pages, and that's really what truly matters. So if this episode gave you something to think about, I would love it if you left us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much if you do. Follow us along or subscribe. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And of course, share it with a friend who's stuck on journaling, or even who's stuck in the overthinking spiral and could use journaling. This is definitely the episode for them. If you're ready to make journaling feel easier and more you, please stick around, because there's so much more coming. And until next time, let's become abundantly aware together. Bye.